In honor of Halloween, today we're going to go through the Mysterium. So this is a whodunit style game where one player acts as the ghost and the other players are trying to understand the ghost's silent and artistic messages to try to determine who killed the ghost. Let's open it up. You have dared to cross the threshold of the haunted Mysterium Manor. How very brave. Settle in around the table, open your mind, and awaken your sixth sense as you prepare for an extraordinary seance with the aim of laying a stranded soul to rest. Duchy of Warwick, Scotland, September 19th, 1922. Professor Alphonse de Bellecourt, Poitiers, France. Dearest Alphonse, since I last wrote, supernatural events have been occurring at the manor on a daily basis. In the course of my investigation, I came across a few old newspaper cuttings mentioning the tragic demise of a manservant nigh on 30 years ago. Although the police quickly concluded that the death was accidental, rumors about the circumstances continued to circulate. It seems the case was rushed, and I'd bet my last shilling that my ghost has something to do with this story. Sadly, he is unable to manifest in our world for long enough to communicate. By combining our forces, we might just be able to give him the energy he needs to deliver his message. I therefore repeat my invitation. I would be delighted if Alma, Ardashir, Madame Wang, Jesselyn, and your good self can join me without delay to solve this mystery. I look forward to receiving your reply. Ever yours, C. McDowell. So the non-ghost characters can choose from Conrad McDowell, whose specialty is crystal gazing, Alphonse de Bellecourt, his specialty is numerology, Alma Salvador, whose specialty is pendulum divination, Ardashir, whose specialty is a talisman, Madame Wang, whose specialty is I Ching, or bibliomancy, and finally Jesselyn Smith, whose specialty is tarot reading. Mysterium is a cooperative mystery-solving game in which everyone wins or loses together. All players share the same goal of uncovering the truth behind the death of the ghost that haunts the manor, thereby putting his soul to rest. What to expect during the seance. The game is set in the 1920s. In your role as psychics, you have been invited to a nighttime seance on Samhain, Halloween, when the visible and invisible worlds meet. This is the day of the year when the living are most easily able to contact the other side. You will have only 7 hours before the spiritual connection with the ghost is lost. Upon making contact, you quickly realize that the ghost is unable to communicate his killer's identity directly. Clearly still in severe shock, the ghost has only vague memories of his death. With his help, your task is to reconstruct the events of that fateful evening. Who was present at the scene? Where might the crime have taken place? What objects may have been used as weapons? To save precious time, each psychic will follow a different line of inquiry, with the aim of identifying and reconstructing the activities of one of the suspects. Exhausted by his years wandering the astral plane, the ghost has become too weak to speak. Instead, he will communicate with the psychics individually, sending them visions in the form of flashes, which the psychics will then share and interpret to the best of their ability with their partners. Guided by their intuition, they will then indicate their preferred hypothesis to the ghost, beginning by identifying the suspects. In return, the ghost will inform each psychic whether or not their intuitions were accurate, enabling the most perceptive among them to move forward with their investigation. When the suspect has been unmasked, the psychic's next task is to determine where the crime took place and what object may have served as the murder weapon. If all the psychics successfully complete their tasks within the allotted 7 hours, the ghost will be able to recall the culprit's identity. Summoning his remaining strength, he will send the whole group one final vision identifying the culprit. The more clear-sighted the psychics have been during the seance, the more unequivocal this final vision will be. Finally, the psychics hold a straw poll to formally identify the culprit, winning the game if the majority pick the right suspect. This frees the ghost's soul to rest in eternal peace. If you fail, the ghost's spirit will continue to roam the netherworld, and you will have to wait another year before re-attempting to solve the mystery of the manor. So the ghost hides behind this beautiful screen. You can see it looks just like a perfect haunted house. We've got the beautiful entranceway, the classic stairs going up on either side. Stained glass window at the top. side, you see what the ghost sees. There's slots for each character, for each of their lines of inquiry. Here we have our clock, so we can make sure to count the rounds or hours. The player markers are these adorable crystal balls. And here we have our list of suspects. The blue-backed versions of the cards are for the ghost so that they can have reference. So we don't really need them for today's session. We have 3 ravens, or maybe they're crows, and they belong to the ghost to help the ghost along, to get better visions, or rather to give better visions. And these giant blue cards are the visions. So I know a lot of the Mysterium expansion packs come with brand new cards to choose from. All of these have really just beautiful otherworldly designs on them. And the ghost somehow needs to take them from this to one of these. Let's see how the ghost does. The ghost starts with 7 cards to choose from. The ghost's first card has a blue cannon decorated with stars. There's lanterns, fireworks, or I guess a cannonball. So first we do need to identify the culprit. We've got a traveler, what looks like a teacher, and a watchmaker, perhaps? So now if I was the ghost, I might use this big wheel imagery to point to our friend the traveler. If you look close, there's a wheel in the picture right here. So this seems almost obvious, but in the game, our poor psychics will always overthink things. So while I might think it's obvious that this big wheel is this big wheel, someone might look at the gears on the clockmaker's card and say that the wheel looks just like all of these beautiful gears. So they might accidentally choose that one. But as the ghost, I pass my vision on to this character here. Since I've only got 3 cards face up, we'll only play with 2, so I guess we'll go black versus blue. So the path I'm leading black on will contain the Voyager, which means I'll choose the teacher for this one. Would this card make sense? We're on the sea, there's a little sailboat, a mop, some rain, some thread, a message in a bottle. Nothing that screams math teacher, but let's keep looking. Here we have snowy footprints. The last card had rain. This one seems to be snow. We've got a green tint to everything. Okay, here we have a drawing in the sand next to some water. And the grid in the sand has a flower, a skull, a key, a heart, sun, moon, hands, and a lock. Nothing specifically related to the teacher, but the teacher's card does have all of these rulers on it. So perhaps you could say the straight edges of this grid is made with the rulers. Keep that in the back pocket. Not all of them will be as obvious as giant wheel. Here we have some food floating around in the air. Again, more rain. It's a very dreary set of cards I have here. But nothing in this screams teacher to me. We have a beautiful fountain in a garden with an arch and a bunch of cages. Here we have a lighthouse next to a Christmas tree with some snowy mountains and a frozen lake in the foreground. And now we're back to that first card. Well, honestly, the only card that I had even a remote attempt with is the grid. So we will give the grid to the blue player. And now the ghost will replenish by taking 2 new cards to replace those cards they just lost. Okay, so The black crystal ball sees the big wheel, the cannonball, and notices that there is indeed a big wheel right here. So they're going to go ahead and guess this one. And now Blue comes along, stares at this weird sand, but they notice that in one of the grids is a lock, and the clockmaker's tools might look like lockpicks, and there's even a key on it. There's a sun, and the sun has spokes which kind of look like the gears here and here. So they don't make the connection between the straight lines and the rulers, and instead they choose the clockmaker. So now the ghost comes in, tells the black crystal ball that they get to move forward, but sadly, Blue remains behind. Okay, now the ghost must determine where the crime happened. Meanwhile, they're still trying to tell Blue who did it. Alright, let's see what we have now. We've got this haunting scarecrow. Or these geometric glass flowers. And I mean, Blue already knows I only flopped 3, so they have to choose this. But you know, I'll still give Blue geometric, so hopefully they start putting together lines geometry, so they have to choose that. And now for this. And remember, the ghost chooses ahead of time what paths each, or what lines of inquiry each color goes for. So in this case, they did decide that the kitchen was the next step. So we have to find a card to bring the black crystal ball to the kitchen. Well, this one with floating food and pots and pans, again, seems pretty on the nose. I don't think anything else fits, so let's give them this one. And again, they replenish. Ooh. Okay. So we'll let Blue go first this time. Now they're trying to figure it out based on both clues. But of course, since I did only flop 3 face up, they know it has to be this one. But now they see geometry, straight lines, the rulers, and now it all makes sense. And the other crystal ball sees floating food and pots and pans. And this kitchen here literally has hanging pots and pans. So, not hard for this one to make their choice. And the ghost comes in, lets Blue know they are successful, as is the black crystal ball. Okay, now the ghost must determine, was it the fork, the clock, the candle, the shaving knife, or the shaving blade, or the hammer? So we're going to try and get them to guess fork. Meanwhile, blue is going to try to guess the outdoor scene. Okay, so here we have plates and some red yarn. I don't see forks, but you know, there's these antlers that kind of look like the tines. You've got the red string and red ball, and the background of the red fork is red. So that's a potential. Now we have a starry night with floating ghostly figures. I don't think that really helps me anywhere. And we have our garden scene, so that might work for blue. We have another outdoor scene, but this one has to do more with snow. This one is just water, so that's not helpful. Snowy footsteps. It might be useful if we need another card, because the gates and the grills kind of share similar features as the chair and some of these pieces up here. And the scarecrow. Nothing really fork-like about him, though might fit with the outdoor. But we'll go with our first gut instinct here. The ghost will give the black the plates, and we'll give blue the garden. And the ghost's 2 new cards. Ooh, we got like a King Triton situation. Or a top hat, which literally has cutlery in it. Jeez, could have used this last round, but alright. So the black one here sees plates of red yarn and some antlers. But instead of going towards the fork, they think these antlers look more like this candelabra, which I don't really blame them. So they're gonna guess this. Meanwhile, blue sees the arch and the general outdoor garden nature. So between an indoor library and an outdoor setting, blue will choose outside. And the ghost says blue moves on. But unfortunately, black was incorrect. Now, blue will need to try to guess the hammer. Well, we did just get this wonderful card with a top hat that has a fork. we're going to go ahead and give that over there. Now we need to find a hammer. I don't see anything in this one. Nothing here. I mean, it's stretching it, but the long wooden stick thing here, right? Bring them to think of the shaft of the hammer. Or I guess this one's closer. You get more of the like T shape of a hammer. Okay, we'll hold on to this one. Green snow with a teddy bear, not so much. Scarecrow. I mean, if, say they didn't get it off of this one, I might go with the Scarecrow because you would need to use tools to put it together. And the only tool here that kind of makes sense would be a hammer. But that's thinking a few levels deep. Okay, we're back to the beginning. So we're going to give Blue the mop. So now Black is going to see the fork and put it together with, plates, cutlery, the red, and they will choose the fork. Blue sees the T shape and decides with their first guess to go to the hammer. And the ghost says they are both correct. Now both lines of inquiry are complete, and the ghost has a sudden flash of understanding. And now they know which path was the correct one. Was it the school teacher on the patio with a hammer? Or was it the traveler in the kitchen with a fork? And the ghost does get 2 more cards. Now, using these cards, they get to decide which path is it going to be. Here we have a ballerina and a nutcracker dancing in a box with some white fluffs. We've got shoes, a door, a window, keys hanging, and music notes floating. We have our King Triton style character in the water. Floating ghosts in a starry sky. Our lighthouse with the Christmas tree in the winter outdoors. Or our green tinted snowy outdoors with a lantern. And finally, good old Scarecrow. So, the ghost, I think, will choose the Scarecrow. Because you see, the Scarecrow's wearing a wide-brimmed hat, which is sort of similar to the school teacher. Then it's outdoors. And between the two settings, we either have indoors or outdoors. And finally, as I mentioned, you might use a hammer to construct a scarecrow. So, yep, the ghost gives both players the scarecrow clue. So we'll say that this row is row 1 and this row is row 2. Now each player must secretly guess what this vision means, which path, 1 or 2. Blue has made their choice. As has black. And now, moment of truth. Did they both select path 1? They did. They are very smart clairvoyants. And now the ghost drifts off to rest in peace. Congratulations to the players and the ghost. Our job well done.